Picture two apartments in the same city, on the same block, renting for about the same price. The first home belongs to someone making $95,000 a year. Step inside and you'll see a massive 75-inch TV mounted like a centerpiece, a $4,000 leather sectional, counters crowded with appliances that still have packaging on them, closets jammed with clothes, many never worn, and a spare room that has quietly turned into a storage unit for things that haven't been used in ages. This person opens their banking app with a tight chest. They're only a couple of missed paychecks away from real trouble. Now walk into the second apartment. The owner earns $52,000 annually. The space feels open. The couch is simple but comfortable. The television is normal-sized. The kitchen contains only tools that see regular action. The closet holds clothes that rotate through real life, not fantasy versions of it. The extra bedroom is actually used as a bedroom. When this person checks their bank balance, there's no anxiety spike. They have a year and a half of expenses saved and invest a fifth of every paycheck automatically. Same neighborhood, nearly half the income, yet dramatically more financial safety. This isn't really about salary. It's about an invisible connection between possessions and security that most people never learn to see. The higher earner isn't reckless in any obvious sense. They don't gamble, they don't blow money on obvious vices. They simply allowed their lifestyle to expand piece by piece until maintaining it consumes every dollar that comes in. The lower earner discovered a different principle. Having fewer things doesn't mean living poorly. It means living on purpose. And purposeful living creates breathing room that many high earners never experience. What follows are the minimalist money principles that separate people who consistently have financial stability from those who always feel stretched thin, regardless of income level. These ideas aren't about denial or austerity. They're about recognizing that every object in your life carries ongoing expenses most people never bother to calculate. Start with one perspective shift that will permanently change how you evaluate purchases. Everything you own charges you twice. The first charge is obvious, the sticker price. The second charge is hidden and often larger. It includes the cost of space, upkeep, mental bandwidth, and missed investment potential. Take that treadmill gathering dust in the corner. It occupies physical space, and space isn't free. In many urban areas, each square foot of housing effectively costs dozens of dollars per year. Once you account for safe clearance, that treadmill may be consuming 20 square feet, hundreds or even $1,000 annually in invisible rent just to sit there. Then there's maintenance. Consider a boat parked in a driveway. Even unused, it requires cleaning, insurance, registration, seasonal preparation, repairs, and storage considerations. A common rule suggests yearly upkeep equals roughly 10% of the boat's value. A $30,000 boat quietly drains about $3,000 every year, whether it sails or not. But the hidden bill isn't purely financial. There's also cognitive load. Every possession demands attention, cleaning, organizing, worrying about damage, remembering where it is, deciding what to do with it later. Studies show clutter elevates stress hormones and makes concentration harder. Your belongings are literally taxing your brain in the background. And finally, there's opportunity cost. Money locked inside objects can't grow elsewhere. $15,000 spent on elaborate home gym gear could have compounded dramatically if invested. Instead of buying only equipment, you effectively chose equipment over future financial independence. When all these factors are added together, many items cost more to keep than they did to purchase. The receipt only shows the admission price. Ownership is the ongoing subscription. Minimalists grasp this instinctively. They don't reject possessions because they dislike comfort or quality. They simply calculate the full price and decide most things don't deliver enough value. From that understanding comes the first core rule: always determine cost per use before buying. Estimate honestly how often you'll use something, then divide the price by that number. That figure reveals real value. A $200 coat worn twice costs $100 per wear. A $400 coat worn hundreds of times costs only a couple dollars each time. The pricier option becomes the smarter purchase. This single calculation destroys impulsive buying. A fancy kitchen gadget used twice a year becomes shockingly expensive per use. Meanwhile, a modest tool used weekly becomes incredibly cheap over time. It also highlights purchases that truly improve life. A high-quality mattress used nightly for a decade costs pennies per use, while directly affecting health. A daily espresso machine can undercut cafe spending. Math strips away hype and emotion, exposing what genuinely makes sense. Rule 2. Run the replacement test on everything you already own. Stand in each room and ask, if this disappeared today, would I spend money to get another? Answer honestly. Would you replace that dusty bread maker, the novelty fondue set, clothes you haven't touched in over a year? For many possessions, the truthful answer is no. They remain not because they serve you, but because they slipped into your life during past phases, impulse buys, gifts, abandoned hobbies. These objects carry negative value. They occupy space, consume attention, and demand maintenance while giving nothing back. Time spent managing them is time stolen from meaningful pursuits. Minimalists remove anything that fails this test. Items with resale value are sold, useful goods are donated, and true clutter is discarded. The process may feel uncomfortable at first, then unexpectedly freeing. Homes feel calmer, cleaning becomes faster, finding things becomes effortless because only purposeful items remain. Rule 3. Never upgrade simply because you're bored. Many financially strained high earners fall into this pattern. Their phone works perfectly, but a new model appears. Their TV functions fine, but marketing promises better color. Their car is reliable, yet a redesign makes it feel outdated. These changes feel like progress, but they steadily drain wealth. Minimalists replace things only when they genuinely fail. Boredom doesn't count as failure. Neither does envy or novelty. If an item still performs its job, it stays. Over decades, this discipline saves enormous sums. Frequent tech upgrades alone can cost tens of thousands of dollars across a lifetime. Apply the same logic to cars, furniture, and appliances, and the savings multiply dramatically. Rule 4. Make saving effortless and spending inconvenient. Behavior flows along the easiest path. If buying requires no friction, you'll buy. If saving happens automatically, you'll save. Minimalists design systems instead of relying on motivation. They remove stored payment details from shopping sites, wait at least a day before non-essential purchases, delete retail apps, and unsubscribe from marketing emails. At the same time, they automate transfers to investments immediately after payday, keeping only modest balances available for daily spending. This matters because willpower fluctuates, systems don't. A tired or stressed person can still overspend with one click, but if the path to purchase is blocked by friction, the impulse often passes. Rule 5. Periodically count what you own. It sounds tedious until you try it. Counting forces awareness, and awareness curbs accumulation. Choose a category: shirts, shoes, gadgets, and tally them. Most people underestimate dramatically. Once you know you own 40-plus shirts, buying another doesn't feel like a small addition. It feels like expanding an already excessive collection. Many minimalists set limits or adopt a one-in, one-out rule so growth never becomes automatic. Without boundaries, possessions expand to fill every available space. Rule 6. Rent or borrow before committing to ownership. Many purchases support short bursts of enthusiasm that fade quickly. Camping gear, musical instruments, photography equipment. Countless homes contain relics of hobbies that lasted weeks. Trying before buying reveals whether interest is durable. It also clarifies exactly what equipment is truly necessary. Rule 7. Account for the lifestyle multiplier. Large purchases rarely stand alone. A boat requires storage, insurance, gear, maintenance tools, and a vehicle capable of towing it. A home gym invites flooring, mirrors, ventilation, and accessories. A pool brings chemicals, furniture, cleaning equipment, and landscaping. The real price is the entire ecosystem. Removing one major item often eliminates a cascade of related expenses. Rule 8. Define what enough means before income grows. Without a clear target, lifestyle expands endlessly. Raises lead to upgrades, which become the new normal, demanding even more income. People earning multiple times more than average can still feel broke because expectations scale upward. Those who decide in advance what level of housing, transportation, and comfort truly satisfies them create a finish line. Once reached, additional income builds wealth instead of fueling consumption. Rule 9. Measure wealth by freedom of choice, not by visible assets. True financial strength means being able to walk away from harmful situations, handle emergencies without panic, pursue meaningful opportunities, or simply rest when needed. A high income paired with equally high expenses provides little flexibility. Moderate income with low expenses provides tremendous freedom. Every purchase trades some future choice for present ownership. Rule 10. Declutter continuously.
Rule 10. Declutter continuously rather than through rare, massive purges. Big cleanouts feel dramatic, but are temporary if habits don't change. Small, regular reviews keep accumulation from returning. Removing a few items weekly is sustainable. Tackling hundreds at once is exhausting and easily postponed. To put these ideas into action immediately, start small. Identify a handful of possessions you wouldn't buy again and remove them. Impose a one-day pause on non-essential spending and observe how many urges disappear. Count items in a clutter-prone category and set a personal cap. Define what level of spending truly feels sufficient for your life. Over time, these practices compound. Spending drops while savings accelerate, creating a widening gap between income and lifestyle. That gap becomes wealth, not through luck or extraordinary salary, but through clarity. There's also a feedback loop. Having fewer expenses makes saving easier, which increases security. Greater security reduces the emotional urge to consume. Reduced consumption accelerates savings further. The cycle reinforces itself. The opposite cycle, spending to soothe insecurity, also reinforces itself, but in a destructive direction. Research consistently shows that once basic comfort is met, additional possessions contribute little to lasting happiness. Minimalists align their behavior with that reality. They prioritize stability, time, and freedom over accumulation. Return to those two apartments. The resident earning $52,000 didn't stumble into security by accident. They built it through deliberate choices about what to own and what to ignore. The higher earner didn't fail through recklessness, but through unquestioned assumptions that more stuff equals a better life. Both paths remain open to anyone, regardless of current income. The real decision isn't about how much you earn, it's whether you control your possessions or allow them to control you. The numbers favor ownership of your life, and so does the peace that comes with it.